Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us again for Ask BrandSpeak on this lovely Friday morning. So, hope you guys already had your cup of coffee or your cup of tea, whichever one you prefer. I'm a tea person myself. So, my name is Renzo Jimenea. I'm an account executive here at BrandSpeak Asia. So, good morning, everyone. I already see that we have a couple of viewers already. So, hello, hello. So, don't forget to like and share our live video for today. Feel free to tag your friends or your colleagues up down there in the comment section so that they can join us for today's Ask BrandSpeak session. And since you're already here, you're live up at it this morning here on social media, why not give us a follow? At BrandSpeak Asia, you can look us up on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. All right. So for those of you who are interested, we've been sharing this in the past couple of weeks. So we offer a free 10-minute brand consultation. That's right. So if you're over there on Facebook, that question will pop up on your screen or in a few seconds, or if you're over on YouTube, if you're watching us live on our YouTube account, comment down below, I'm interested. So we'll get in touch with you and we'll set that up, send us your email address or contact information. And we'll set that meeting up. So who knows, right? If you have something going on for your brand, if you're looking to go into digital marketing, or if you want to partner up with an influencer, or even if you have an upcoming live event, a virtual event, we can help you with that. And let's see how it goes. All right. So to share with you guys, we're actually on the second installment of our Ask BrandSpeak session for digital marketing. So in the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about branding and everything under branding. So our president and CEO, Miss Lady Armas, our business development and account manager, Miss Denise, so they've been sharing their insights and their expertise on that topic. But since last week, we've shifted to digital marketing. And Miss Lay set us up from last week as she talked about the top 5 misconceptions about digital marketing. So if you haven't watched that yet, head on over to our YouTube account. All of our Ask BrandSpeak sessions will be uploaded over there. So leave a like and subscribe, right? All right, so enough of the plugins of our social media accounts, okay? So last week, right, Miss Lay talked about the top 5 misconceptions about digital marketing. And in the latter part of her session, she asked this crucial question, and it's what's stuck with me the most, right? What kind of results do you want to see for your brand, right? What are your goals? Is it about increase in following for your Facebook or your Instagram account? Do you want high engagement for your posts? Or do you want more visits for your websites, right? So whatever your goal may be, you have to ask yourself, and that's something that you need to set up at the very beginning. And so for today, I'm sure you've already seen the title or our ads. So I'll be talking about the basic social media metrics, right? What are the metrics? What are the key performance indicators, the KPIs that you should be monitoring and measuring for your brand or for your social media accounts, right? So let's get started. So there are a lot, there are a lot of different social media metrics that are available in the digital space, from your following to your engagement rates, to your conversions, right? So if you're not really sure on what you're doing, and you might be, measuring all of the metrics that are available, it can be confusing and it can be a daunting task to do. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. We'll help you on figuring out what is the right social media metric, what are the right key performance indicators that you should be measuring for your brand today. All right, so first things first, I want to share with you the importance of measuring your social media performance, right? Because that's really where social media metrics come in. So like what I've said, there are a lot of different social media metrics, and they can vary from one channel to another, but there are a couple that are generalized across different social media channels, right? So social media metrics are important because they can help you measure how successful a campaign can be. They can help you determine how well your social strategy is performing, and ultimately, It will help you understand, if all your efforts ultimately have an impact on your overall business. Okay. And last and certainly not the least, metrics keep you aware. They give you a sense of understanding and general social profile, and talk about your brand health as well. Because, at the end of the day, you don't really know the impact of your social media presence, not until you have the data to back it up. Okay, so that's where social media metrics come in. So what are the different social media metrics? But like what I've mentioned before, there's something that you should establish first, or something that you should do first, is that you should first set your goals. What are your business goals? What are your social media goals, right? It's very important for you to do that first before determining the right social media metric or the right key performance indicator that you should be measuring. Because your social media goals will help you determine the right metrics that you need to monitor and measure, right? So for every goal, there is a related metric for that. So this will help determine if your social media strategy is hitting the mark or not, right? So let me share. It's been shared with me from the conferences that I've attended, the webinars, and I'll share it with you as well. This key code, right? Measure what matters to you, right? Let me say that again. Measure what matters to you. So again, like what I've said, there's a lot of different social media metrics, right? So you only need to measure the right one for you. So, okay. So let me talk about the three categories, so to say, of social media metrics that I'll be sharing with you for this morning, right? Here are the basic social media metrics that you should monitor. First and foremost, awareness metrics. Awareness metrics. So these are your reach, and these are your impressions. Okay. Now some tend to get confused between the two, but there is a clear distinction between them. So impressions, so let's say for example we're in a social media setting, right, for your posts. Okay. So impressions are the number of times that your post shows up on someone's timeline. It's the number of times people have seen your specific post. Now, while reach on the other hand is the number of potential, or the number of unique viewers that your post has. All right. So I'll say, for example, in a crowd of 5 people, that's your reach, but your impressions can be more than 5 because that a single person can see your post multiple times. All right. So impressions, let me share with you. Impressions is a good measure to track. Is a good metric to track, because it gives you a sense of virality of a specific post that you have. Why? Because again, it's the number of times a post is seen by a specific user. So if we have a high impression, it means that it's something that people have always seeing, and it gives you a sense of virality, like what I've said. Right? So those are your 2 main awareness metrics. Okay. So number 2, the second kind of metrics that you should monitor. So these are your engagement metrics. So engagement measures the number of times someone took an action on your post, on your ad, right? Depending on what format or what platform you're on. But it's the number of times of an action. So your engagement metrics, these will be your likes, your comments, your clicks. If you're on Facebook, these were your reactions, right? The heart emoji, the wow reaction, the sad reaction. So these are counted as engagement as well. So engagement, essentially it boils down on how much your audience, are interacting with your account, are interacting with your posts, and how often as well. So in line with that, in line with your engagement, so you have your engagement rate, right? So engagement rate is the number of engagements that you have received divided by the impressions or divided by the reach. So it depends, there's different formulas for your engagement rate. Generally, that's it, right? So if you have a high engagement rate for your post, for example, So that indicates, how responsive your audience is to that specific post, and what that can help you with. So say for example, post A has a high engagement rate of 8%, and then post B has a low engagement rate of 2%. Now, what does that tell you? Right? You need to analyze what's the difference between your post A and post B. It could be a difference in the format that you use for your post. Let's say, for example, post A is a video compared to post B is just a simple static photo, right? As we all know, videos perform better on social media, so we receive a lot more engagement. So maybe that's why you have a higher engagement rate. Or perhaps your post A is more engaging. It answers questions, it engages with your audience better compared to post B, right? So it's those kind of things that you have to look into, because metrics give you a deeper understanding on the performance of your post, on the performance of your ad, right? Okay. So one more thing to include under your engagement metrics, of course, is your mentions, right? Your organic mentions. So these are the people who are commenting or tagging your brand, so at your brand name, right? So that's part of an engagement as well. So it gives you a sense of understanding of the conversations that are happening, right? So, but mentions, one thing also that you have to consider is that there is a difference, between social media monitoring and social media listening, right? So there's a difference between the two. And I won't go into detail for that. That could be a potential topic, in another Ask Brand Speak session. But let us know. Let us know if that's something that you want to see, or if you have questions about it. Let us know down in the comments. If you have, or even if you have other topics about digital marketing that you're interested to learn about, let us know, and maybe we can include that for another Ask Brand Speak session. Right. So there you have it. There you have your engagement metrics, your likes, your comments, reactions, your shares, or even on Twitter, your retweets, right? That's also counted as well. So like what I've mentioned, it depends on the platform that you are on, right? But let me tell you this, right? Looking like most metrics, right? Not just in engagement, not just in awareness, like most metrics, looking at one engagement metric might not give you all the context that you need. Just looking at likes for a specific post isn't all that good. You need to consider other factors as well. You might want to consider looking at different metric as well. All right. So you need to use a combination of metrics to give you a deeper understanding about your specific post, so that you can better align and meet your specific goals as well. So let's say, for example, right? You have a post that has a lot of likes, but there's barely any comments. People are not sharing it, and that isn't always bad, and that can be good. But what you need to consider as well, you have to look into the intention and the purpose of the post or of the video ad or the ad that you have, right? So if you have a lot of comments, and then that's good, but again, look into the purpose of what is your call to action with that post? What is your call to action with the ad that you're running? Right, so you might have a lot of reach, again, if you're awareness, but if the goal of your ad is to generate engagement, you have a high reach, but there's not a lot of people are actually engaging, not a lot of people are commenting on your ad or on your post, then there's something wrong. And that's the beauty of measuring your social media performance, right? Because right then and there, you can make your necessary adjustments, you can make your necessary countermeasures to help improve what you are doing, especially in ads as well. It's something that you can easily do and right off the bat. Okay. Third one is your conversion metrics. All right. So for conversion metrics, it varies because there's a lot of different things and factors that you need to take into. But basically, let me share with you, a conversion happens when a consumer or your target audience or your customer makes the action that you want them to take, right? Say, for example, you're an online store, you have your e-commerce site, right? And of course, the conversion metric there is your sales, right? Your clicks that you're getting. Or if you're running an email marketing campaign, right? So your clicks and the click-through rates is the right conversion metric to track to track and measure in that specific area. Right? So what is a click-through rate? CTR, right? So your click-through rate shows the percentage of people that has seen your ad, that they're seeing your post, or they're seeing your email marketing campaign, and has actually clicked on it and has been led to the landing page that you have set, right? So CTR. And so a high CTR, a high click-through rate, it means that you have an effective ad, because a lot of people are actually engaging with it, and they're actually, not only are they seeing it, but they're actually interested enough to visit the landing page that you want them to go into. Right? Okay. So some common examples or some areas where your CTR, your click-through rate, is measured. So these are your email links, your call to action buttons, your PPC advertisements, your pay-per-click ads, or your social ads that you might be running for your brand or for your business, right? So you also have your links on your landing pages, or you may be doing social media advertising, or if you have on your website, different buttons and images that you want people to engage into, right? Okay. So another one is very important as well as your cost per conversion. So these varies, your CPCs. It can vary for, especially if you're doing social media ads, this can be your cost per click. Now it varies because it depends on the goal or the objective that you have. So if you're looking into, if you're running Facebook ads, to say for example, if your objective is to gather more engagement for your ad, then this would translate into your cost per engagement. So if you're running a web traffic ad, rather, this would be your cost per click, right? So if you're running a conversion ad, then it becomes your cost per conversion. But basically, your CPC, the cost per click, cost per conversion, now it refers to the actual price you pay for each click or conversion, right? Now, why is this important to track? Because of course, like any marketing campaign, like us as a business, you have your marketing budget. So that's always something that you have to consider as well, right? So, and the beauty of this as well, that you can compare the data, the CPC that you have, with benchmark or industry standards, right? You can even compare it to historical data if you run previous ads. When you say, for example, you're running your engagement ad up on Facebook and Instagram, and then you might be noticing, okay, you have a high cost per click, and it's higher than your average spend. Let's say, for example, you're already spending around 3 pesos, 5 pesos per engagement that you are receiving, which is relatively high already. So you might want to consider and look into the ad that you're running and see what are the things that are causing your engagement to be high, right? Maybe it's perhaps the material, the ad material that you are using, or perhaps the audience that you are targeting for your ad. These kinds of things, again, that you might want to look into for your social media metrics. And that's why it's important to measure and track them, because they give you a deeper understanding. But then again, right, at the end of the day, these metrics, they're all just numbers, right? They're all just numbers. And what's important for you to do with these numbers is that you need to have that skill set. You need to have that the mindset that what do these numbers mean for me? Now, what do these numbers mean for my brand, right? It's always the interpretation of data, data analytics, data science. That's where it comes into those kinds of things. But yeah, data is just data. So what's important is how you interpret those data and how relevant it is for your business and for your brand. Right? And always keeping it aligned with your goals as well. Right? So those 3 things: your awareness metrics, your reach, your impressions. Second is your engagement metrics. These varies from your likes, your comments, your shares, if you're on Twitter, retweet, video views, those kinds of stuff. And then third one is your conversion metrics, your click-through rates, your clicks, your purchases, and your cost per click, your cost per conversion. All right. So let me give you an example. Okay. So here's a framework, right? You need to set your business goal, identify your objective, and then you identify what are your tactics and where are you going to be doing, what are your marketing initiatives to achieve your goal, and then lastly, your metrics that will come in to measure your campaign. Right. So say for example, you had your business goal is to increase conversions. You know, you have a product and you're selling it online. So conversions is a very something a conversion metric that most businesses go after, right? Because they want to increase sales and they want to generate more engagement, right? So let's say, for example, that's your goal, to increase conversions. Now, your social media goal is to increase conversions. And let's say, for example, that you're selling online on your website. So the tactics that you're doing, of course, you're doing social media content to promote your brand, to promote your product. You might be doing a social ad as well. That are leading people to your e-commerce site, and maybe even you're partnering with an influencer to talk about your brand and give you a positive review and to tap into their audience as well, right? So now that you have that goal in mind, you know the tactics, you know the marketing initiative that you will be doing to achieve your goal, rather, right? So now it's time to measure your campaign and the time frame in which to measure them as well, to see if your campaign is being successful or not. So with your social media posts, are you generating enough reach, right? So especially if you're launching a new product, you know, you might want to consider creating awareness for that brand. So reach is a very important metric that you should be considering for that as well. And of course, if you want to, if you're looking into generating conversations, right? You know that send message button up on Facebook, you know, because right now in the social media world, especially on Facebook, you know, especially here in the Philippines as well, that's an insight for you guys. Messages are very important. You know, people want to talk to somebody. So some messages that you receive, so that's a metric that you should be looking into. So with your ad as well, are you generating enough clicks, right? For example, you know, you might have a lot of reach. You know, you're reaching 10,000 people for your ad, but no one's really clicking on your ad. You're not leading them to your website, and you have to look into that again. What's wrong with my ad? Because your goal is website clicks, so clicks. And then lastly, with you're partnering up with an influencer, right? You need to determine what's the engagement that you have with that influencer. You know, how is that influencer bringing value to your ad? If you're giving that influencer a specific link, you know, that they should be going into, then that's something that you should track. Or if you're just simply promoting it, and then you can look at the engagement of their post and the reach as well, right? So again, it varies. So it's very important, you know, for you to consider the social media goal or the business goal that you have. Okay, right. So just to recap, you know, metrics are important because they tell you if a campaign or a strategy is successful over time. And that you can find metrics in your native channel, in your analytics section. I'll share with you different tools that you can use at the end later on. But let me share with you again. So let me remind you again, rather, just because you can track everything in digital, right, does not mean that you have to measure everything. You know, again, go back to your goals, go back to your objectives, measure what matters to you. Okay, so the different tools that you can use, you know, where can you find these metrics? You know, over on Facebook and Instagram, you have your Insights tab. If you want to look into more specific posts up on Facebook, there's Creator Studio as well. You know, especially if you're on your Facebook page, make sure that you have a significant page role so you can look into the Insights tab of your Facebook page. On Instagram as well, there's Insights, although it's not as extensive as what Facebook has. But on Instagram, I believe you have to set up your Instagram account to be a business account for you to see those insights, right? So over on YouTube, they have their live studio as well. They have their own analytics. Even on Twitter, it's analytics.twitter.com, if I remember that correctly. But Twitter Analytics is also there. If you want to if you want to look into the metrics for your website performance, you have your Google Analytics. You know, it's free, by the way, guys. All of these tools that I've been mentioning, it's free. There's no charge there. But for Google Analytics, what you just have to do is get the code, of course, create an account, and then install that code and to your website. So get in touch with your IT or your web developer to set that up for you, right? So And also, if you're specifically running a lot of social media ads, particularly on the Facebook and Instagram platform, you might want to consider setting up your Facebook Pixel account, because that's what helps you track the performance of your ads, especially if you're running conversion ads. It will help you determine if from Facebook if they're actually leading up to your website, and what are the actions that they are doing on your website. Are they generating sales? Are they buying stuff on your e-commerce store? Where are the leads coming from, right? Especially on your website. Are they coming from your Facebook account? Are they coming from Google searches, right? The sources of your traffic. That's something that you should consider as well. Well, of course, there are other paid social media management tools that already give you these metrics. If you're using them, the likes of HubSpot, the likes of Sprout Social, these kinds of things, they give you insights as well, and they have a preset report that you can create. All right, so those are different tools. So those three metrics, the three basic metrics: awareness metrics, engagement metrics, and conversion metrics. All right, so just to end this, let me leave you with this question, with these two questions, right? So first, what social media metrics do you consider to be important for your strategy? What social media metrics do you consider important for your brand, right? And the second question, how are you tracking your key performance indicators over the course of your campaigns? Okay, so that's it. For basic social media metrics, I hope you guys learned a thing or two from today's Ask BrandSpeak session. So let me invite you guys again to follow our social media accounts. Look us up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. At the end of the session later today or over the weekend, we'll also upload the full Ask BrandSpeak session over on our YouTube account. Also, I want to invite you guys, if you are interested, right? So we offer a free 10-minute brand consultation. So if you're interested, type in the comments down below, I'm interested. Or if you see that Facebook card pop up, let us know your contact information, send us your email address, and we'll get in touch with you. And maybe we can help you out with something for your brand. All right, so again, thank you very much for joining us today. Have a lovely Friday morning. Have a lovely Friday day ahead. Bye.